Hi everyone, in this video we're going to cover on fraction. Let's look into a fraction, what we have to cover over here. Alright, so in fraction we have several operations involved, and I'm going to cover all the operation here. We have addition, subtraction, multiplication and division. Alright, I'm going to write the general rule for a fraction. If you ever have two fractions being add or being subtract, then you must make sure you obey this rule, which is make the denominator same. If you do not follow this rule, then whatever answer you're going to get by solving the fraction will be wrong. So take note, when you have a addition or subtraction in fraction, you must make the denominator same. Same goes to if you have a multiplication division, you don't have to make the denominator same. So you can see they are in contrast with each other. So when you have plus and minus, you must make sure the denominator same. If you have multiply and division, you don't need to make the denominator same. So what is denominator? In fraction, we have the top part and the bottom part. The top part we call as numerator, and the bottom part we call as the denominator. Therefore, for this addition and subtraction, you must make sure both fraction has the same value. For an example, I would like to do this question. Example 1. Let's say I have 2 over 3 plus 7 over 4. So before you start doing, you might want to check on the denominator. So if you notice, the denominator is not the same. So when it's not the same, you cannot add them. Therefore, we have another method where we will make the denominator same. I'll cover that a little bit later. Let me just explain to you few questions on how you actually determine whether you can add or subtract. Let's say I step up a bit. I have negative 2 over 3 minus 4 over 2. Again, you want to check because this is a subtraction problem. So the denominator is not the same. Therefore, you cannot perform. You need to make the denominator same. Only then you can perform. One last example. Let's say I have example 3. I have 2 over 3 plus 7 over 3. So this question, yes, it's a bingo because the denominator is the same. So when the denominator is same, we do not add the down because our objective is just we want to make the denominator same. With that, we can add them up. So 2 plus 7 will give you 9 over 3. Further simplification will give you 3. Some of the students won't understand that. They will ask me why we no need to add the denominator. So imagine we have a flyover bridge. Alright, you imagine the situation. We have a flyover bridge. So there are about 2 persons standing here. And then we have perhaps about another 3 persons standing here. Okay. Here 3 persons, here 2 persons. So if these 2 persons want to cross the bridge, we must make sure the bridge is connected. So if the bridge is not connected, they cannot cross each other. So same thing with the fraction. We no need to go add them become 6 because why? We just want to make the bridge same. We don't want to make the bridge more taller and add more effort. It's just a little bit of illustration here. If you don't know the story, never mind. But then just remember, we just want to make sure they are the same. When they are the same, this is least of our concern. So we can just add them up directly. Alright. So that's example 3. Now we will go to an example when the denominator is not the same. Okay, in example 4, I need a little bit of space here. Let's say we cover example 4. So in example 4, if I have 2 over 3 plus with, for an example, we start with a small number, 4 over 5 for an example. So now when the denominator is not the same. So when the denominator is not the same, what do is we cross multiply. Look carefully at the marker, the color that I'm using, and the operation that I'm using. We cross multiply simply mean if the neighbor, for this 5, the neighbor is 3. You can't tell any other neighbor here. We only have 2 neighbors here. Therefore, for this 5, the neighbor is 3. I will times down 3, I'll times up 3. Right? You must times up and down. There is a reason here because why we want to multiply by factor of 1. You can just stick to the basic. We just multiply by the neighbor, but remember we must multiply the neighbor up and down to be fair for each other. And then for this part here, since this is 3, we multiply the neighbor here. So I multiply 5, I multiply 5. Now we're going to write the new reform fraction. 5 times 2 is 10 over 15 because 3 times 5 plus 4 times 3 is 12 over 15. Now we can check addition and both bridge already connected, so we can simply add them up. 10 plus 12 is 22 over 15. If you can further simplify, see this simplify, or you convert into mixed number. I always tell to make into mixed number. Therefore 1, 15, 15. Alright, 22 minus 15 is 7. So your mixed answer will be 1, 7 over 15. That's how you solve this. Right? So maybe I'll do one more example. There are some questions in fraction might involve integer as well. So your integer must be strong prior to doing a fraction example. Alright, so let's look at question number 5. Let's say I have 2 over 4 minus with 3 over 7. Same thing you ask yourself again, is the denominator same or not? My answer is no. But then some students will notice that this part here can be further simplified. I would advise you, if you can simplify, you simplify before you start. Because why? When the number is too big, when you multiply, the number gets bigger and bigger. So when you simplify, when you multiply, it's less headache for you. Therefore, I'll simplify this. It'll become 1 over 2 minus 3 over 7. So now I'm going to make the denominator same. I multiply here 7, I multiply here 7. Like I mentioned, the neighbors you multiply up and down. It's a rule. And this neighbor you multiply here, 2 and 2. Therefore, we write our reform fraction. 7 times 1 is 7 over 14. Moving forward, 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 7, 14. Now, we can, since our bridge is already connected, we can solve up here. 7 minus 6 is 1 over 14. And therefore, this is in a proper fraction. You can leave your answer in this form. Since I talk about mixed number, proper fraction and improper fraction, I would like to highlight a little bit. In fraction, we have 3 types, namely called as proper, improper, and mixed number. So what's the difference between all of these 3? A proper fraction, usually, the top number, namely called as the numerator, will be larger than the denominator. Whereas the improper fraction, the numerator will be larger than the denominator. And mixed number usually will be in a form of this. So what we can tie in these two, proper and mixed number, you can convert each other. But, wrong connection. Improper fraction, you can convert to mixed number, or you can convert to vice versa. But these two doesn't have a connection. So usually, improper fraction, we will always convert to mixed number. That is the standard. Alright, take note, unless the question or your problem specify you counterwise. Right? If they didn't specify, take note, always convert improper fraction to mixed number. So how you convert, just now I show you, you just do the division and you solve. So like I mentioned earlier, proper fraction, the top number, or also known as numerator, will be larger than the denominator. For improper fraction, the numerator will be larger than the denominator. And then the last one we have is the mixed number. So I already covered with you the addition and subtraction part. Now I'll cover for you the multiplication and division part. Multiplication and division are pretty much very straightforward. I'll just go on with the example. Let's say we go to example 6. If I have 2 over 3 times 4 over 2 for an example. So if you notice on our note, I already mentioned don't have to make the denominator same. Meaning, we don't need to check whether the denominator is same or not. We can directly solve it. So how do we solve for multiplication? Up times up, down times down. As simple as that. Therefore, 2 times 4 is 8, 3 times 2 is 6. Alright, and you can further simplify this, become 4 over 3. Some students will spot that these 2 and these 2 can cancel off. Yes, you can do that as well, no problem. Alright, so multiplication is very easy. Up times up, basically numerator multiply numerator, and denominator multiply with denominator. We do one more example. Let's say I would have example 7. We go with a bit larger number, 3 over 7 times with 2 over 5. So like I said, in multiplication, we don't have to check whether the denominator is same or not. We can directly proceed. 3 times 2 is 6. 5 times 7 is 35. So if they can be simplified, you need to simplify. Or if it's an improper fraction, you convert to mixed number. Like for this question, it's a proper fraction. So you can leave this as your answer. I already cover on multiplication. Now I'll do on division. So in division, let's say I have 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 1 for an example. So for division, you need to be a little bit careful. Usually what we do in division is we look after the divide. Alright, we don't look before the divide. So the first step to solve any fraction being divide, you need to convert from divide become times. Only then you can solve. Okay, they have a maths logic behind that. But for the simplicity of the video and understanding, I don't want to prolong too much into that depth. I'll just keep it to the basic. You just look anything after the division symbol, not before. So now after the division symbol, we have 4 over 1. Therefore, we will convert by invert the number become 1 over 4. Alright, take note. Look after. We do not convert the 2 over 3 become 3 over 2. We only look after, not the before. So therefore, we invert them, become 1 over 4. Now you can solve this easily. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 times 4 is 12. And you will get 1 over 6. Alright. I'll cover a few more examples on division. Let's say I would have example 9. Negative 2 over 3 divided by 4 over 5 for an example. Alright, so I have 4 over 5. And if you notice, I have a negative in front. For the first step, what we need to focus on division is, we look after the symbol, not before the symbol. Right, take note, we look after the symbol. So after the symbol, there will be negative 2 over 3 times, we invert this position, become 5 over 4. So now we can do our multiplication directly. Negative times positive become negative 10. 3 times 4 become 12. So you can further simplify this, become, you go and simplify it. You should get your answer as negative 5 over 6. Done. Alright. So pretty much that's how we do multiplication, division, subtraction and addition. And there are times where fractions sometimes will be incorporate with some integers topic, like how I do just now. I'll do one last question because these are the common questions that you see. Let's say I have something like this, 2 over 3 divided by negative 4. So when a student see like this, they'll be wondering, how do I invert this actually? So I'm going to show to you guys. You just want to look right after the divide. So in maths, usually, if there is nothing over, it's ultimately understood as over 1. Because 4 over 1 is 4. Therefore, we go add it by ourselves based on our understanding. I tell you again, if there is nothing as a denominator, you add divided by 1. Therefore, our rule for fraction on division I mentioned, look after and change the symbol. So it will become negative 1 over 4. Next thing student like to ask me, do this negative go down or go up? Take note on this, negative 1 over 2 or negative 1 over 2 or 1 over negative 2. All of these are the same thing in fraction. Take note of that. All of these are the same thing. But we don't ever write like this. This doesn't sound appropriate for mathematics. So we usually write like this or write like this. Alright, so take note, because why? Student will ask me, after I invert why my negative I put like this. So therefore I already explained to you, like this, or like this is the same. But this is inappropriate. Therefore we will write the best representation, which is this. Now we proceed with our calculation. 2 times negative 1 is negative 2. 3 times 4 is 12. Therefore, you simplify this, you get negative 1 over 6. I hope you guys understand and enjoy in this video. It might be lengthy, but I cover quite a lot over here. So in case you have any question, you can always communicate in our WhatsApp group, or you can just drop any message in the comment, and when I see, I will reply. Alright, so thank you for this video. Bye bye.